All righty. Well, let's get started. Not very exciting overall in things to report this week, I don't think. We are past the drop date for the people that were considering that option. So we are cruising into the end. We've got this module and one more module, and that's it. At this point, if you have not yet done the practice modules or the practice for the 3 chapters for this week, which is worth 3%. If you've been fully marked, and we're mostly marked through discussion 3 at this point, you've got 51% of your final mark at this time. So we are rapidly getting there in terms of building the mark. I see, I took a quick look today, there's about 5 or 6 people that haven't done the course requirements, but they also haven't done anything else at this point. So they're at a flat 0. So there's not a lot of hope for those people. There's a couple that are floating around with anywhere from a 6% to, let's say, a 15 or 17%. Not looking too promising either. If you're going to try and salvage this, if you don't need a 65 as a required course in whatever curriculum you're part of, then you better get into high gear really fast. Inevitably, we get to the end of the year and I get email. I'm used to a lot more students, so hopefully it won't be as much email. I get emails saying, sir, I needed a 65 and I got a 62, and I look and that person didn't hand everything in or whatever. I don't do random mark adjustments for no reason. So that's just not going to happen for the people that are going to rely on my good nature to get the mark that they need. That is a bad plan. So on the other hand, there are many people that have well over 40 marks at this point already, which is fantastic. You're on a really good path then to get that 80% plus or whatever it is your goal is. So there's some people that are touching on like really close, within 1% of perfect at this point. So it's attainable if you do the work. So there are, like I said, we're about 80% of the way through marking discussion 3. So I think there's about 10 students that I haven't put marks in for discussion 3. Between Jordan and myself, we're not completely done marking that. Keep an eye on that. Remember from last week, it is going to be best 3 out of 4 for the discussion marks. So even if you got a 0 in there or a poor mark, you're going to be able to get rid of that poor mark if you do discussion 4. This is the last week that there is a discussion. Okay, so we didn't have one in the first module. We don't have one on the 6th module, but modules 2, 3, 4, and 5 have discussions. So this week is discussion 4 in module 5. And that will be it for those short answer questions. The next question I'm anticipating is that what we're going to do, we're starting to think about the final. I believe, should always check this, Sunday, July 31st at 7 p.m. is our final. And that is 7 p.m. local time. That is not going to be changed if you're writing from somewhere else. That's the way it goes when you take an online course. I will only be opening that from 7 o'clock till 10 o'clock. It's a 3-hour exam. And if I get an email asking for an accommodation because that's 2 a.m. wherever you are, I'm sorry. For the integrity of the exam, I want students writing all simultaneously. If I've already had people saying, I'm traveling, I've got this, I've got that, that is not something that the university or that I accommodate. You are expected to be available during exam period. So find 3 hours out of your holiday. It's an online exam. So it's an online open book exam. So log on, do your best, and that's that. So I don't, the exam isn't worth that much compared to some of my courses. So the final exam's worth 25%. So if you apply yourself, you could be sitting with already 70% or something like that going into the final, and therefore have lots of confidence. I will talk next week about final exam preparation. I will be giving a test or a practice exam that will just be the multiple choice and the true false and the multiple answer questions. It won't have any short answer written questions, because I don't have anywhere near the time to mark those, and there's no way to auto mark them, whereas the other ones I can auto mark. But what I can say is that those discussion questions, not in the depth that you're treating them week to week, like you don't need 400 or 500 words, but those are similar to the kind of questions that you can expect on the final exam. I haven't written it. I haven't separated it out yet. So I can't tell you yet how many questions of each type they're going to be, but I'll be able to tell you that next week for sure. I don't know how much. Sometimes I put very specific guidelines in my syllabus and sometimes I don't. I think I left it pretty wide open. I wasn't real specific on what I was going to do for the final, but it'll be a combination certainly of multiple choice, like the questions that you see in the quiz and the questions that you've seen in the discussion. It'll be some combination of that. You won't need to be doing any APA referencing or any referencing at all, of course, in a final. But I would recommend, and it's never too early to start, I would definitely recommend preparing for it, because it will be a hard enough final. It'll be time consuming enough that if your approach is going to be to do an open book and just keyword search your book, going through the multiple choice, and you don't really actually know anything, it's not going to, you're going to run out of time. There's a good chance you'll run out of time anyways. So do prepare, do make sure that you read all the chapters again, and probably do the practice exam after that. See if you can identify any holes in your game, and then do some final studying, and then it shouldn't be too bad if you've actually done all the reading a couple times at that point, and you have an open book. So I don't think I owe a couple of specific students marks in previous discussions. I will get to that. I'll get them posted and feedback sent. What I did over the last week was I sent out the feedback. Unfortunately, we haven't had a great run with my discussion questions in terms of me being able to provide feedback. We did all the feedback, but you guys haven't been able to see it. So if someone has a mark in their discussion 3, can anyone here go in and take a look and see if you can see our feedback on that at this point? And just let me know yes or no whether you can. If you can see a mark in Blackboard, go into it, click in and see if you can see the feedback. I'm hoping that we've finally got this beast figured out. Otherwise, I will send another, I'll copy the feedback and send personalized emails again, like I did for chapter or discussions 1 and 2. I've been working with Wiley to try and sort this out, but I guess I made the mistake of moving them into a folder where you could see them, which, because my modules up until now I had closed off once we were done with them, I moved them into a different folder, and apparently that broke the connection with Wiley so that we couldn't associate the marks anymore.
Hi, sir. I just went on and I could see my feedback, but I
so happy.
like follow the links and get on to Wiley, and then I could see it. So okay. Yes.
Perfect. Thank you very much. I finally figured it out then. So yeah, for this one and the next one, not that the next feedback will help you at all, but for this one and the next one, you'll be able to see your feedback and your scores per the rubric. So that's what we've been doing all along, as you could probably tell from the email that I sent out. But now I know for next term how to do that. Thanks, Leah. I really appreciate that. That's actually a big relief, because I like to give timely feedback and give you guys a chance to react to the feedback and make the improvements. And we just didn't have a great situation for our discussions this time around. But I think it's fair. The best 3 out of 4 allows us to allows decent marks to happen regardless. So yeah, I think that's all that I've got. That's all that I wanted to talk about. Does anyone have any questions for me? I see some other students are commenting that in the chat that they can also see feedback. So that's good. I'll know, like I said, I'll know how to do that for the next class. Not that that helps you guys particularly, but this is my first time with Wiley, and I didn't understand how that was working. So. Okay, guys. So it's just business as usual this week. We've got 2 chapters plus a tech guide to digest. Tech guide 4, chapter 9 and 10, tech guide 4 to digest and work on, just like you've been doing. It's the same load basically. Next week, we'll talk about that, but next week it'll be 3 chapters from the book. There'll be no tech guide. We're done with the tech guides after this week, and we're done with the discussions after this week. So we sort of, I think, slow down a little bit next week. There won't be as many deliverables, but that should give you a chance to start studying for the final, which is not that far away at this point. It's 13 days away. So just a day less than 2 weeks away. And then you're done. And then you can maybe enjoy 4 weeks off in the summertime before getting back at it in the fall. In any case, if you guys don't have any questions, comments, or concerns, please do get on with your day. And thank you very much for attending the office hours. Yeah, have a good evening as well.